fantasy football consensus is useful. It's useful in a lot of ways. But if I agreed with consensus on every single player, there'd be no reason for you to listen to me. Frankly, there'd be no reason for you to listen to everybody. Everybody would just say, this is the guy, and that's who everybody takes. And we go, okay, great. That's the new way we do fantasy football. So I went through my entire Great North rankings and compared them to where these guys are actually being drafted. And I found 3 players that I think the market is getting something wrong about. 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and a tight end. And no, I'm not higher on all 3 of them. So these are 3 players that consensus, I believe, has wrong. We're going to start off in Baltimore right away. Zay Flowers. Let's give him the start we need, because this one is a little interesting. I don't have some massive disagreement with the market. Zay is going around 39 overall. In most PPR drafts, I have him at 38. So basically, we're sitting at the same table here. I think I'm behind on the prices. I think people are getting him wrong. Because when people talk about Zay, I still hear a lot of Baltimore runs too much. Lamar spread the ball around too much. Where's the massive touchdown upside? Frankly, all of that is fair. But at some point, we have to stop treating Zay like he's just some nice wide receiver too. He's more than that. He's the lead receiver in this offense, and the Ravens are building their passing game around him. And we've already seen that when they need a play in the passing game. Flowers is one of the guys they trust. He's the most trusted, I would say, outside of what used to be Mark Andrews. So at this price, I'm not expecting Zay Flowers to suddenly turn into Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. I'm expecting a high-volume wide receiver with a stable weekly role who still has another level of touchdowns if the Ravens ever cooperate. And at 38, I'm comfortable with that all day long. Now this one, Rhamondre Stevenson. I know where consensus is actually giving us something. Rhamondre is going around 83rd overall in PPR, and I have him at 80. And before anyone says it, yes, I am a Patriots fan. So feel free to discount what I have to say for the next few seconds accordingly. I also think fantasy football has spent about 2 straight years trying to replace Rhamondre Stevenson before New England actually has. Every year we hear, this is the year he's going to lose the job, and then he keeps being the guy. Travion Henderson is talented, and I love me some Travion. But last year, Stevenson was still the more efficient back in almost all areas, especially the ones that matter. He was creating explosive runs. He was making people miss. He was good after contact. He was better in pass protection, which is why he's going to get the opportunities. And that last part is why it matters way more to fantasy managers than they would ever like to admit. Coaches put running backs on the field when they trust them. New England trusts Rhamondre. So am I expecting him to get 350 touches and Travion to disappear? No. But at RB 32, for a guy who still has a legitimate path to leading the backfield, it's the kind of boring value I want. It's not the sexiest pick in your draft, but sometimes boring wins. And I got to be honest with you, in this case, I'm fully in on buying Rhamondre Stevenson. Player number 3 is one that we're going to get into a little bit of a disagreement, and I'm a little bit lower than the consensus. That's George Kittle. Consensus has him around 91 to 93 overall in PPR, and I have him at 95. And let me be clear, this is not me saying George Kittle is bad. George Kittle is ridiculous. Okay? He is a great player overall. I think that he has got some of the best talent on the field when he's healthy. He can basically win you a game or a week by himself. But because he is doing that and he just came off this injury, I don't love the price. I don't love what you're paying to get him. Because once we get into this part of the draft, I'm only asking myself one question. Do I need this tight end? And with Kittle, I'm not sure that I do. We already talked about Tucker Kraft in a previous video. I love Tyler Warren. There are other tight ends that I'm willing to take later. So if Kittle falls, sure, I'll take the flyer on him. But And that's to say I'm not running away from him. But if the room wants me to pay tight end 9 prices for a veteran tight end with some weekly volatility and a long injury history, I'm probably going to let somebody else fall on that grenade. This is one of those situations where the player can still be great, and I can still say, I don't love the price. And this is why I build my own board. Not because consensus is useless or wrong all the time, but it shouldn't make the decision for you. Zay Flowers, consensus and I basically agree. Rhamondre, I still think there's some value there. And George Kittle, great player. I'm just not paying what the room wants me to pay. And that's fantasy football. In a nutshell, that's fantasy football. You don't have to hate a player to pass on him. You don't have to love a player to draft him. And you don't have to think a guy is a superstar to recognized value. You need to remember to stay disciplined and let the draft come to you. Tell me in the comments, which one of these three do you think I am most wrong about? Don't forget, if you're looking to take a look at my fantasy guide, you can get it. The link will be in the description below. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.